All right, people. So, welcome to Jumbo IAS and welcome to UPSC Prelims Phoenix batch. In this batch, we revise the entire syllabus for UPSC Prelims examination, both static as well as current affairs. Now, this particular lecture, which you are currently watching, is related to our static lecture series, and you are well versed with the schedule. The timetable was shared with you well in advance. So, you know that in the static lecture series, we are currently covering modern history. And your today's target for modern history was a very pivotal moment in colonial India's history, and that was the revolt of 1857. Some people call it the First War of Independence, and some people call it just a mere Sepoy mutiny. Now, whatever label you want to put on this particular event, well, this doesn't discount the fact that this was the most important moment in India's colonial history. It woke the British Empire up. It actually opened their eyes. Now, this was a very important moment, and it changed the British rule forever till 1947. Now, it is a very important topic, therefore, I'm hoping that you have already gone through the notes. The notes were shared with you well in advance, so you have already revised those notes, and now you're sitting for this lecture because we are going to revise this topic again through a set of 30 MCQs. All right, so let's begin. So, modern history day 3, and your target was revolt of 1857. Okay. Now, let's start with question number 1, okay? So, assertion reason. So, assertion, the annexation of Awadh in 1856 created widespread discontent among the soldiers and peasantry. Reason, Awadh was called the nursery of Bengal army and many sepoys belonged to this region. Okay, so yes, Awadh was annexed by Lord Dalhousie and this created extreme discontent among people in Awadh. Now, most of British Indian army was recruited from peasant families of Awadh. Okay, it was generally believed that almost every household in rural Awadh had one soldier in the British Indian army. Okay, now if everyone in Awadh would be dissatisfied with the British rule, of course it would affect the soldiers as well because they also come from the same army, right? So Awadh was called the nursery of Bengal army. Yes, of course, most recruitment happened from Awadh and many sepoys belonged to this region, and that is why annexation of Awadh sowed discontent among soldiers and peasantry. So this is also correct, this is also correct, and R is the correct explanation of A. Clear? So answer is A. Next, assertion reason again. The greased cartridges of Enfield rifle acted as the immediate cause of revolt of 1857. Okay. R reason, cartridges were believed to be greased with cow and pig fat, which hurt the religious sentiments of both Hindu and Muslim sepoys. You see, already way before revolt of 1857, there were these rumors going on that these Europeans have come to India to destroy our religion. These rumors were going on. Okay. Plus, the East India Company were also guilty of some of this because there were a lot of missionary activities, religious conversions happening. Then they passed certain laws which were social reforms, but the people, conservative people, viewed it as destruction of their religion. For example, sati abolition, widow remarriage, all of this was viewed by the conservative sections as destruction of their traditional religion. Clear? So this was already brewing. This feeling was already there. And it was not just restricted to Hindus, it was also there with Muslims as well. They were also feeling dissatisfied. Now, all of this was going on. Then comes the Enfield rifle. Okay. And a rumor was spread that this Enfield rifle contained the greased cartridge of this Enfield rifle was greased with pig fat or cow fat, which is again hurting the religious sentiments of both Hindus and Muslims. So this rumor, this feeling that they have come here to destroy our religion got validated, and then this was the immediate trigger that they would rise up in revolt, that we can't tolerate the British anymore. Okay, so yes, it was the immediate cause of Mangal Pandey's rebellion, and the cartridges were believed to be greased. It was believed, again it was a rumor as per many British historians. So this is also correct. So both A and R are true. Both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation. C. Clear? Next, another assertion reason. Assertion. Doctrine of lapse of Lord Dalhousie was widely resented by Indian princely states, rulers. Reason. It provided for the annexation of Indian states by the British in the absence of natural heir, as in the case of Jhansi and Nagpur. So under doctrine of lapse, Lord Dalhousie said, we have discussed this, that if you do not have a natural biological heir and you have adopted a person to become your heir of your kingdom, we will annex your kingdom. Now, this was widely resented by many Indian rulers, and that led to the annexation of Jhansi and Nagpur. Okay, Satara, Jhansi, Nagpur, Udaipur. So that is why, well, both are correct, and R is the correct explanation of A. Clear? Next. Again, assertion reason. The revolt of 1857 failed to unite the entire country. Reason, Bombay, Madras, Punjab remained largely peaceful during the revolt. So yes, not the entire country was not united. If it was, maybe the British would have been defeated and driven away from India. But the entire country was not united. In fact, well, in Punjab, Punjab was silent. In fact, the recently demobilized Sikh army, which was part of Maharaja Ranjit Singh's army, was then recruited by the British. Well, the Sikhs and the Gurkhas, well, they actively supported East India Company to suppress the rebellion. I mean, some regiments of Sikhs and Gurkhas supported the British. Okay, Bombay was largely dominated by middle class. They were not happy with the people who were revolting. They were happy with the British. So yes, this is also correct. Okay, so both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. Okay, another assertion reason. Assertion. The revolt of 1857 had both military and civil dimensions. Reason, it started as Sepoy mutiny but later involved peasants, zamindars, artisans against British policies. So yes, this is another criticism of British historians because, well, Indian nationalist historians call it the First War of Independence, but British historians just called it Sepoy mutiny. Okay, the soldiers are just mute. I mean, they are involved in a mutiny. But the criticism of this label is that it was not just a Sepoy mutiny. It was not just the army people who were revolting. Well, initially it started with Mangal Pandey as Sepoy mutiny, but it later spread out. Okay, because there were many people who were dissatisfied with the British policies. Artisans were dissatisfied because the British were involved in active deindustrialization. So they got, I mean, there was loss of livelihood here. Many zamindars, their zameens were annexed. Peasants, they were not satisfied because of excessive land revenue. So they all participated. So it started with military, but it had civil dimension as well. So again, both statements are correct and R is the correct explanation. These are basically assertion reason MCQs with respect to causes of revolt of 1857. There were many causes. Okay, greased cartridges, Enfield rifle was just the immediate cause. Okay, but there were many underlying causes. All right, next question. Match the leaders with the regions of revolt. Okay, so different regions of India which rose up in revolt, well, had different leadership. Nana Sahib, Rani Lakshmi Bai, Begum Hazrat Mahal, Kunwar Singh. So Nana Sahib he revolted in Kanpur, the adopted Peshwa. Rani Lakshmi Bai, well, she was from Jhansi. Begum Hazrat Mahal, well, she was the wife of Nawab of Awadh, whose kingdom was annexed under doctrine of lapse. So she also revolted from Lucknow, Awadh's capital. And Kunwar Singh was a zamindar and very old zamindar in his 70s. Yet he was pretty active, like a soldier, young soldier. He revolted in Bihar. Okay, so 1A, 2B, 3C, 4D. The answer would come out to be right. Next. Match the tribal or peasant uprisings, which are not related to revolt of 1857, but were going on before 1857, with the leaders and regions. So Paika rebellion, Santhal Hool, Pagalpanthi rebellion, Muplah rebellion. Okay, so Paika rebellion happened in Odisha in 1817. The thing was that British removed the Gajapati kingdom of Odisha. Gajapati dynasty of Odisha. Now they were ruling Odisha, the Britishers, East India Company basically. Now there were many soldiers, peasants who were part of the Gajapati kingdom's army. Well, they were unhappy with British policies and they revolted. Their leader was Bakshi Jagabandhu. Okay, Paika rebellion, Odisha's first rebellion against the East India Company. Then Santhal Hool was a tribal rebellion. The Santhals were tribals of Jharkhand, Chota Nagpur Plateau region, and they revolted against the British in 1855-56, right before revolt of 1857. And their leaders were Sidhu and Kahnu. Then Pagalpanthi rebellion happened in, well, Mymensingh district of Bengal, which is currently in Bangladesh. It was a peasant rebellion. The peasants were not happy with British land revenue policies, and their leader was Tipu Shah. Okay, his father Karam Shah basically started a hybrid religion, a new religious sect, and his son Tipu Shah led this rebellion in Memansingh district of Bangladesh, Bengal. Okay, and Mupla rebellion happened in 20th century in Malabar region. Okay, it had some communal tinge also, so communal Hindu-Muslim angle also, but it was largely against the British policies. Malabar region, Kerala, Mupla rebellion. Okay, so Paika A, Santhal B, Pagalpanthi C, and Mupla rebellion D. 1A would be the answer. Okay, next. Social causes of revolt of 1857. What were the social causes? Now, military causes, we all know, like Enfield rifles. What were the social causes? Remember, most of it is related to the religion or attack on religion. Missionary activities promoting Christianity, abolition of sati, widow remarriage act, introduction of Western education. All of this was perceived as attack on religion. And people were very sensitive about their religious practices. So this religious conversion, sati abolition, widow remarriage, all of this, and promoting Western education instead of traditional education, all of this was perceived as attack on religion. So the answer would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, next. You know, the reason why the middle class did not support revolt of 1857 was that the educated middle class supported Western education. Okay, but the people who rebelled did not. Attack on religion people. Okay, nonetheless, this was some sidetrack extra information. Next. Political and administrative causes included doctrine of lapse, yes, annexation of Awadh, discriminatory administrative services, alien judicial system. Now, doctrine of lapse was the reason why many princely states like Jhansi, Peshwa, Begum Hazrat Mahal of Awadh Kingdom, they all supported this revolt. Okay, so yes. Annexation of Awadh, most of the Bengal army came from Awadh, yes. Discriminatory administrative services. In the army and in the administration, Indians were not given higher post, higher pay. Very low level jobs were reserved for them. So they felt discriminated in the army itself. So this was there. And the judicial system introduced by the British was alien to them. Okay, the British common law or the judicial system, they were not used to that, and they felt injustice most of the times. I mean, whenever they went to the British judicial system for resolving a dispute, they did not understand it, and they always felt that this is injustice. So these are the administrative causes 1, 2, 3, 4. Clear? Next.